In the waters off the coast of Australia, white-capped waves crash against the hull of the ship. Day and night pass relentlessly. As the fishing vessel FV Morning Star 2 floats like a small fortress amid the vast ocean. Unlike tuna or cod fishing boats that weigh only a few hundred tons, the FV Morning Star 3 takes on a more unique mission. It specializes in catching and packaging Nien Hoa fish, a strange creature that many people hesitate to touch. The sailor's work is both arduous and quiet, filled with a strong fishy odor and requiring precision down to the smallest millimeter. The Nien Hoa fish, also known as Hoa man fish or tu thuk fish, differs from ordinary fish because it has no neck bones. Its body is smooth and flexible, resembling a living rope. When provoked, it secretes a thick layer of mucus that can stick tightly to a predator's gills, making it difficult for anyone to handle. However, this unusual creature provides a stable income for ships like the Morning Star 2. The markets in South Korea, China, and several East Asian countries have a high demand for Nien Hoa fish, not only because they can be prepared as specialty dishes, but also because their skin, when properly treated, can be crafted into high-quality leather similar to snakeskin, used to make luxury wallets, shoes, and watch straps. Work begins before dawn, when the sailors usually wake up around 3 or 4 in the morning, while the sea remains dark and only the deck lights illuminate the starry sky. They put on thick, waterproof clothing, rubber gloves, and protective goggles, preparing for a challenging and unpleasant day ahead. The traps used on the ship are shaped like plastic tubes, about a meter long, containing bait such as fish meat or animal bones to lure the Nien Hoa fish inside. A single ship can set hundreds of such traps overnight, then retrieve each one the next day, dumping the writhing fish into storage containers. The process of sorting and packaging Nien Hoa fish demands skill and patience. The fish are scooped out, rinsed with seawater to remove the mucus layer, then placed into temperature-controlled tanks. Depending on the order, they may be kept alive in salt water for fresh export or humanely processed before being frozen in plastic boxes labeled accordingly. For fish destined to be exported for leather, skilled workers on board will skin the fish, soak the hides in salt water, dry them, and seal them in vacuum bags. A workday can last up to 16 hours, moving at a fast pace. Each sailor handles a different stage on the assembly line. One pulls the ropes, another sorts, another rinses, another packages, and another records and inspects quality. Although the work is tough and smelly, the income from Nien Hoa fish is relatively stable, especially when market prices are high. The captain and crew of the FV Morning Star 2 maintain strong spirits, seeing this as part of their life, bound to the sea as their destiny. On the deck of the FV Morning Star 2, the air is always damp and thick, with the strong smell of fish, rotten bait, and especially the distinctive odor of Nien Hoa fish. The slimy, pungent scent lingers so persistently that it seeps into every thread of fabric, every strand of hair, and even the skin of everyone on board. However, the sailors seem to have grown used to it, no longer overwhelmed as first-timers might be. To them, it's the smell of hard work, food, clothing, and money. The scent of tons of cargo worth tens of thousands of dollars on the ship. There is no clear boundary between day and night. When the sun rises over the horizon, it signals only a shift change and task adjustment, not a time to rest. Those who pulled the nets all night move to the packing area, while another group continues to gather new nets. Plastic containers filled with Nien Hoa fish are transported from the side of the ship to the main processing area, where long stainless steel tables run parallel to the ship's side, sprayed with high-pressure salt water to wash off the mucus layer. The fish, ranging from 30 to 60 centimeters long, flop weakly in the water, and workers must skillfully hold them without letting them slip away. If careless, the mucus can splash into eyes, mouths, collars, or even into the ears of nearby workers. Each cleaned Nien Hoa fish is sorted by size and placed into storage bins. The workers coordinate smoothly in the cramped space. Some handle sterilization. Others check freshness, and some do the packing. The refrigeration system beneath the deck ensures each container of fish is frozen within 30 minutes after processing to maintain absolute freshness. For exports to South Korea or Japan, packaging standards are extremely strict. Each tray must contain the correct number of fish. All mucus must be completely removed, and the packaging temperature must not exceed -1 degree Celsius. Every shipment is labeled with batch number, catch date, location coordinates, ship name, and the captain's signature for confirmation. As the ship rocks on the deep blue ocean, the steady hum of the engine blends with the sound of waves hitting the hull, creating an endless background soundtrack. In the sailors' resting area, some catch a quick break after working more than 12 hours, while others lie quietly, breathing evenly, still in their soaking wet work clothes. They only have a few hours to sleep before returning to the repetitive pace of work. But no one complains because they understand they are part of a valuable supply chain, turning the seemingly useless nienhoa fish into a luxury dish or sought-after premium leather material in Asian countries. When the sea gets rough, the work becomes even harder. Net hauling becomes unstable. Seawater floods the deck, and the whole ship tilts in the strong wind. But the net pullers don't stop, their smooth hands remaining focused. Once, a big wave hit, spilling 3 containers of fish onto the deck, mucus splattering everywhere. The workers spent nearly an hour collecting and cleaning up. However, no one frowned. Only quietly continued working, knowing that every lost kilogram means wasted money and experience. The captain of the FV Morning Star 2, Nick, a Greek-born Australian, has been dedicated to this industry for over 30 years. He often recounts the early days when leather jackets were considered ocean trash. No one wanted to buy them, let alone catch them. But now, in certain seas, leather jackets have become black gold. Nick is always the first to wake up and the last to go to bed, inspecting every shipment, recording every detail, and teaching the young crew how to handle the fish without tearing the skin. An extremely important skill in the rapidly growing leather jacket fishing industry. He says that leather jackets are neither beautiful nor fragrant, nor easy to catch. But if handled properly, they represent money, food, and the very life of the entire vessel. After each fishing trip lasting from 10 days to 2 weeks, the FV Morning Star 2 returns to a port in southern Australia, usually docking at a harbor dedicated to bottom trawlers. As the ship approaches the shore, the exhausted crew members' eyes are full of hope, knowing that after days of battling saltwater and leather jackets, it is time to bring the fruits of their labor ashore, to weigh, sort, and export worldwide. At the port, refrigerated trucks are already waiting, and the logistics team begins transferring the fish containers into storage. There, the final sorting stage is carried out, ensuring each box meets the proper weight and international standards, avoiding any mistakes during export. Sometimes, a single catch yields over 5 tons of fish, all frozen at 25 degrees Celsius, ready to be shipped to Busan, Osaka, or even Shanghai. Overseas partners are extremely strict. If even a few fish have scratched skin or the slime layer hasn't been thoroughly cleaned, they may reject the entire shipment. Therefore, both the crew on board and the team ashore always work with the highest diligence, allowing no errors. When the ship leaves the port to begin a new journey, bait containers are carefully prepared to attract leather jackets. The bait must be sufficiently rotten to be appealing, but not completely decomposed. The crew often uses fish heads, cow livers, or cheap offal from slaughterhouses. The bait is placed inside rigid plastic tubes, perforated to release scent. Each tube is about 90 centimeters long, sealed at one end, with the other end fitted with an inverted conical metal mesh that lets the leather jackets enter but prevents escape. Hundreds of these tubes are tied to lines hundreds of meters long and dropped to the seabed at depths ranging from 50 to 200 meters, depending on the water area and season. Leather jackets usually live in mud or between rocks, where decaying marine organisms provide food. The crew aboard Morning Star 2 come from many countries: native Australians, Eastern Europeans, Filipinos, and even Vietnamese, quickly bonding through the universal language of the sea, through glances, gestures, and survival skills. They eat together, share cold beers during breaks between trips, talk about family, life on land, and dreams of prosperity from the ocean. But not everything always goes smoothly. Once, while fishing far offshore, a sudden storm hit, causing the ship to rock violently. Part of the net was lost. The ship's hold flooded with seawater, and a crew member slipped and was luckily only slightly injured. Captain Nick ordered the ship to anchor in a sheltered bay, started the backup generator, and together with the crew checked every piece of equipment, repaired traps, inspected the engine, and kept morale high. In those difficult moments, teamwork and seamanship skills shone clearly. Leather jackets are spineless creatures, almost toothless, yet their survival ability is truly remarkable. Some still weakly struggle after hours in water, and even those cut at the tail remain alive. This trait sometimes makes handling on board challenging, as they can come back to life during sorting, crawling out of trays, and leaving slime trails everywhere. The crew always wears thick gloves, odor masks, and rubber aprons. No matter how careful they are, some days the fishy smell seeps into their hair, fingernails, and clothing layers. Some crew members even have to shower for hours, but still feel the fish odor clinging to their bodies. This work is not for the faint-hearted or those afraid of getting dirty. It demands patience, endurance, and the ability to work continuously for many days in harsh conditions without setting foot on land. But in return, the income of the crew on the Morning Star II is far from low. Each fishing trip, if successful, can earn each person several $1,000s, even more if the catch fetches a high price. For those willing to endure hardship, this is an opportunity to change their lives, accumulate wealth, and provide for their families. At night, when the ship quietly anchors under a star-filled sky, with only the sound of waves, the crew takes turns standing watch, checking the engines, and monitoring navigation signals to ensure safety. In these moments, some smoke cigarettes, some check messages from home on their phones, while others quietly gaze out at the sea, reflecting on a life drifting in vast uncertainty. They are the silent maintainers of a crucial link in the global food and raw material supply chain. No one calls their names. No one honors them through the media. But without them, the famous sea cucumber soup in Seoul wouldn't exist. Tokyo wouldn't have its luxury handbags, and small ports in Australia wouldn't support a multi-million-dollar industry. On calm days, without strong winds or unusual currents, the crew of the FV Morning Star II takes advantage of every moment to maintain a steady fishing rhythm. Trap setting usually happens at dawn or dusk, when sea cucumbers are most active. The ship moves slowly along the trap line, with each person standing at an assigned position. One pulls the rope, one retrieves the trap tube, another pulls out the catch and places it into trays. Every movement must be coordinated smoothly to avoid tangled lines, prevent slime from splashing into the eyes, and ensure no catch falls back into the sea. Each trap tube, if holding suitable sea cucumbers, can contain from 2 to 8 individuals. After several hours of setting traps, the entire deck is covered with a slimy, slippery layer that makes walking a challenge. Newcomers often slip and fall, with some even falling overboard, but fortunately rescued in time. Handling the sea cucumbers immediately after trap retrieval is a complex process, but must be done quickly once the catch is gathered into large containers. They are transferred to a preliminary sorting machine that gently shakes off slime and dirt. Then, on a manual conveyor belt, each worker wearing rubber gloves inspects the quality of every single sea cucumber.